Hello YouTube, this is Sonic2KK, and today we are going to be doing another Lua tutorial. Yay! We're approaching the end of our series, sadly. Well, maybe not sadly, because at the end of this series, if you haven't guessed already, we are going to be making games. Yay! But I've got a few more things to teach you, and I'm gonna go on to some pretty advanced concepts. So if you don't understand this, maybe if you don't understand it, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try and make this as clear as humanly possible. And what I'm going to be teaching in this tutorial is a little bit of an advanced concept, like I said, and I'm going to be teaching tables. Like tables are they are insanely powerful, and they are very important in programming, and you will use this if you had a player in your game and you wanted to keep track of his X and Y position, or where he is in the map. You would have a table containing his X and Y position. So enough talking. I'm going to shut up and actually show you what you have to do in order to do this. Sort of, maybe. Yeah. I'm confused because I've tried to record this tutorial 4 times. This is the 5th time me trying to record it, and it's getting on my nerves that I keep getting interrupted whenever I try to record it. It's not that the recording got messed up, it's that I've been interrupted because I have to wait until I'm alone in the house to make a tutorial because I have no other time to do it. So, today, tables, right. To make a table, you give the table a name. Making a table is a lot like declaring a variable, except you do table equals, and then you do 2 curly braces, and in Lua, you can have as many spaces as you want, but this is how I like to set out my tables, right? So this is making a table, right? But this table has nothing in it. It has nothing in it, and a table has a key and a value, and to get the value, you get the value by accessing it with the name. I'll show you, right? So if I had actually, I'm going to change this to player. Right? So, assuming you're making a game, this is your table, and then you say player dot. No. Right, so you make a table, and the table is called player, and then we write the name of the player. Goes Eamon. And then you do a comma. You don't need this comma unless you have multiple values, but I just like to put more. I just like to put a comma in here for no reason. So what we're doing is here we're making a key inside Lua, or inside the table. Inside Lua, right? Lua, we're gonna make this is a key, and whenever we use this key, we want to get the value Eamon out of it. So this puts kind of like a variable. This is basically storing variables under one name, and then you can access them all. So name equals Eamon. So this makes a player table with the key name that holds the value Eamon. So if I do print player.name, and then we open up terminal or whatever, go to where you saved it, and then type Lua die.lua, and it'll say Eamon, because now we're saying, alright, now we want to print out the value of name in the player table. And Lua's like, okay, but whenever you write this returns the value, which means it doesn't display the value, and that's why we need to print it out to print the return value of it, which is what this returns. This returns Eamon, and this prints it out, if you can work that out. So yeah, and then we could have an age variable called 13. Height, I don't know my height. I think it's I don't know, I'm gonna put in a random one, 5.1. I have no idea what my height is. That's a disgrace. Class human, race. And this is making multiple values. So if we want to we're going to do the age, and then height. Yeah, I spelled, did I? Yep, I spelled that right. and race. And this is print Eamon, age, height, and race. Or we'll print Eamon, 13, 5.1, and human. That's what this would print. And just to show you, it says this, because we're accessing the values from the table. Hopefully that makes sense. And another thing I'm going to teach you, hopefully you understand tables. If you don't, go over the tables, try and understand them. If you don't understand them, I'm sorry, you're going to have to Google it and try and get a better understanding. And if you have any questions about tables, I will sure as heck answer them in the comments. So now we're going to go on to a more advanced concept, actually, and it's called metatables. Now, a metatable is basically where you can make a table, and then if you want that table to have some of the values from another table, if you want that table to inherit all the stuff from the other from another table, then it can go in there. Actually, I'm going to remove the race because that's not necessary. So, if I wanted to make a table and call it dog, and set it equal to nothing, right? Nothing's in here. So this is, we just made a table called dog that has nothing in it. But say we wanted to have dog, say we wanted the dog to have all the same values as Eamon. Well, instead of having to type all that out or copy and paste it, we can actually do it in one line of code. So to get all this stuff here into dog, we use metatables, and what we do is we say set metatable, and what do we want to set the metatable? We want to make dog's metatable player. So in other words, we want dog to have all the stuff player has. So index equals player. I actually have no idea what underscore index does, but you have to do it if you want to have everything from this. Just remember that. If somebody in the comments wants to explain what that does, you'd be teaching me something. But you know, and then if we have a table and we want to print out a value that it doesn't have, like dog doesn't have, because don't forget Lua reads from top to bottom. So right now, dog's metatable isn't player. So if we did print dog.name, it would print nil, because remember nil in Lua means nothing, and dog has no value name, so it has no key name, so in turn it will have no value, so the value will be equal to nil. Or if you did Java, it will be null. I don't know what it is in Python, if there even is one in Python, but this means that right, so we're trying to get it right. So we say to Lua, right, Lua, we want to print the value, or we want to get the value of the name variable in the dog table. And Lua's like, right, okay, whoa, wait, hold on, back the truck up. Dog doesn't have a value of name, so I'm just going to print that nil because I don't have a value. And then down here we're like, oh, you want to set a metatable, okay, but I'm not going to change it up here because I'm lazy. So then we're like, okay, we're just going to print dog dot, hold on, nope, nothing. We're going to print dog dot name down here, and this should say nil, and this should say Eamon. Oh, hold on, 17. Yeah, well, I printed nil up here, but it's giving me an error here for set metatable. Oh, need to have a comma in here. This should fix it. Yeah. Now notice it said, so we printed out name for the player's name, Eamon. We printed out the player's age of 13. We printed out the player's height, 5.1, and then we went down here and we printed dog.name for the first time when dog had no value of name. So we set it equal to nil, but then dog got the value of name from the player table, which then made the dog's value of name equal to Eamon. And so it printed out Eamon. But say we were like, okay, we want to have the dog to have its own name called Buster. And we didn't want to have this overwritten. Well, that's okay, because if we run this program notice how it still says Buster. Now, Metatables, they will get all the stuff from another table, providing it doesn't already have that value. So player had a value of name, and we set the dog's metatable to player. So the dog got all the stuff from player, but dog already had a name. So Lua didn't replace the name. But what we could have did, if we wanted, is we could have set dog.name equal to player.name if we really wanted to override it for whatever reason. And then if we print dog.name, then it would be Eamon. Yep, because it won't override a value, a key and a value. It won't override a variable in a table if it already has that variable, if that makes sense. So it already had a name value, so Lua saw no reason to replace it with the name value that Eamon has. And then if we really wanted to set it equal to the player's name, dog.name could be equal to the player's name, and that's what we did. And then we printed it out, and we got Eamon. So hopefully that makes sense for metatables. Yeah, we haven't got enough time. We've kind of run out of time because the next thing I want to teach is object-oriented programming. That's going to be an advanced concept, and look up object-oriented programming and try to understand it. I'm going to briefly explain it in the next tutorial so you can hopefully understand, but it'll be a very advanced concept to grasp in Lua. And with metatables and tables, it's all possible. If you don't know what object-oriented programming is, try and understand it. It will help you with the next tutorial. And if somebody wants to explain in the comments, once again, greatly appreciated. And if you actually know what object-oriented programming is, get hype. And that's all I have for this tutorial. Hopefully you enjoyed and you learned something. And have a nice day.